Hello, everybody, and welcome to a new call. This will be a little bit a different one, so I will do this for my weekly review. So I will explain the basics, how I do it, and then you can learn also from it. If you have feedback, you can always send me. So I will go over my trades I took, and I will set them in my trading journal, and also the missed trades. So I will do it shortly that you can have as much information you can have. So the first thing we have here, three trades: GBP AUD, Euro GBY, GBP GBY. These are the three trades I took. So what the first thing I do is, if I go on the daily, you can see we have that clear bullish pattern. We had here a bullish pattern, that M. Within that, shoulder 1, head, shoulder 2 with resistance in the head. So this is a clear pattern. The weekly was for me also clear. We had here our weekly bullish trend. We had here our low, high, low, higher, high. So this was the bullish M. We had the trend with us. We had our candle close with us. This was the last bullish candle close back then. So this is also for us, the trend. The fib from this low till this high is also for us. And then the buying zone here, this clear support that got tapped here as resistance, support, support again. So the buyers were sitting there at 4 out of 4. So then I went back to the daily. We were seeing we took this trade here. Then I went to the 4 hour. And what we can see on the 4 hour, we could take this bullish M scale in trade here, took it on the first structure here, took the limit, and then for around 2.5%. So this is a trade followed by the plan, so I can go and set this in my trading journal. So this trade was taken on 19 October 2023, around 11 o'clock. So I will take a copy of that. Copy, I will go to my spreadsheet. This was on 19 October. And this was GBP AUD, like that. So what we can see, I will just do it the 4 hour here. Then we can also copy the daily. Let's do it daily copying on the daily chart. Then the weekly, like this, weekly. I just took 1%, so I copy this from this thing here, like that. Then what did we receive on a weekly? We were in a weekly bullish trend. Weekly was bullish for me. Then we had a pattern like that. So on the daily, we had a pattern within a pattern. So this is my daily pattern that we can receive. So we always fill in my daily pattern and then the 4 hour. So on the daily, we had here that M plus that inverse head and shoulders, like this. So, and then we had that bullish M on the 4 hour that we received. And then we can actually fill in our criteria. So previous week I had $105,270, and this trade was around 2.5% I took out on that trade. So we do it with 2.5%. That will be 105 770, like this. Then we need to copy this thing here, like this. And then we have here our 2.5%. I will just do it for this moment. It was around 2.5%. So this trade was giving me 2.5%. What can we also fill in? It was a good trade because it was a trade followed by the plan. It was around, let me check, around 11 o'clock, like this, 11 o'clock here. I could take this because I was working, So I just set the limit, then the criteria 4 out of 4. Then I can see, okay, was it followed by the criteria? Did we have a 4 out of 4? When was the time I could take it? Was I working? Was I sleeping? Because I do shifts. I do 3 shifts, early, late, and night shift. So this is the reason I do that, and I can look back for yeah, when I was awake, when I was not awake. So yeah. So this was a good trade followed by a plan. Only feedback that we can have here, because if I go on the daily, there is some lesson about that trade. We had on the daily here on that shoulder one. We came back to so this was a shoulder one, had shoulder two. So this shoulder one lows came back till this lows here. So actually it was one impulse, high and low. So normally the price likes to reject on the shoulder one here, shoulder one, head, shoulder two, but now it came back to the daily lows. And why is that? So if I go to another example, Euro AUD, you can see here, if I take my fib from the low here till the high, you can see we had here also the same thing like this. We had here our shoulder one, resistance in the head, shoulder two got tapped. So what is the difference with GBP AUD is this shoulder one wick doesn't came back till this daily lows. So actually it's an impulse, then that correction, fib completion, new impulse, and then we had here, yeah, your clear supply and demand on holding the price up. So actually the difference is just the shoulder one wick here doesn't came back till this low. So that's why the price likes to reject from this shoulder one, then is resistance, then is support. So if I go back to GBP AUD, you can see here the difference. Shoulder one came back to the daily lows. The price sees this as one impulse to the downside and likes to see here some buyers, because it did it also here. So that's why we went back to the downside, and then we took some liquidity for more upside momentum. So this is the big lesson about that. If you see this shoulder one region coming back to the daily lows, there is a high probability that we can go back to the daily lows, just in case. So yeah, this was a good trade, the first one. Then I will go to the second one, Euro GPY on the daily chart. We will do the same thing. So on the daily chart, what can we see? We had here our bullish M here. I took my fib from this low till this high. I can see already the feedback now for me. What you can see is, because I will zoom out, on the daily we are still bullish. Some people will see this as a high, new low, high, new lower low. So you were making here this potentially, yeah, bigger bearish W, but I can see it like this. So what I can see is this was your low here, and then we made here a new high. This is all these weeks go over into each other, these weeks. So actually for me, this is one high, you know. So then we had that impulse to the downside, and then you had here a new high, but this was just a false break. So actually this is one impulse to the upside. So for me, this low and high is one leg. So all of this is one correction. So that's why the price came back in a correction to the downside till this daily higher low here. We took some liquidity. We went a little bit lower with that wick, because this wick was here, the low, and we went a little bit lower. We closed above that. Liquidity was taken. We could go to the upside. So what we can see on that trade is, then if you look at this leg, you can see where were the lows and where were the highs. You can see the daily was still bullish, so we tapped the daily fib from this low till this high here. We tapped just a daily low there. So it was within the fib level. So what can we see then in this impulsive, just a leg? We can see we had here low, high, low, high. This was just one high. So actually, I just needed to put my fib from this low till this high, because this was then the previous low, and then this is the new high. As you can see, impulse, correction, impulse, correction, impulse. So this was your clear bullish M. So I just needed to draw my fib from this low here till this high. And you can see I took the trade earlier on. I took this trade earlier on. So if I delete that smaller fib here, and I will go to the 4 hour, you can see we didn't tap the 61.80. We didn't tap that yet. So I already took here that diesel. So I took that diesel here. And yeah, we went back to the downside because there were some manipulation on it. 1 minute chart, it was like impulsing going to the downside and then going up. So yeah, actually, then I needed to set my daily zone of interest at these lows. So this was the feedback I could give to my chart or review on the trading journal. So, and then yeah, we can see after that we had a loss on my MetaTrader 4 and just a small win on my C trader here because it went so aggressively to the downside and back up. I took 0.5% out because this was the succeeding of my yeah, C trader FTMO 10%. So this was nice. So yeah, so that's why we went back to the downside, and now we are at these daily lows, this daily supply and demand zone here, holding the price potentially up for upcoming week. And you had potentially a fib completion from this high to this low. So we can set the trade in the journal, but we will go first over to the weekly. And what can we see on the weekly? Your trend was still bullish. You had here your weekly low, high, low, higher high. We had here a potential double top for potentially making that consolidation between these lows and these highs. This can be also consolidation, you can see, or you can also see it as impulse, correction, breaking out of it, making potentially a double top, potentially going back to the weekly lows, then going back up. So it's kind of a consolidation. So we had that weekly trend with us. Candle close was bullish. This weekly previous candle close was bullish. We had your fib from this low till this high. And yeah, this was also for us, supply and demand zone was against us here, the selling zone. So we had a 3 out of 4. And then on the daily 4 hour, this was the diesel. So I will just make that screenshot of it. So this will be a screenshot of it. I will go to my journal. I use this journal because this is for me more useful, better for me. Yeah, so I risked also 1%. This was on my MetaTrader minus 1%, so this will be around 106, 750. I guess it was around that. So 1%. Then this was Euro GPY, like that. This was on 25 October. 25 October. This was set. Weekly was bullish plus pattern and plus highs. We tapped the weekly highs. So then on the daily, what we had again, we had our bullish M. We had our bullish M pattern. On the 4 hour, what could we see? Diesel. So we had deceleration. Then we can take our daily screenshot. Daily screenshot like this. We make it a good one. Daily like this, then weekly. That would be clear to see everything on it. So then we will give our feedback. So was it a good trade? Actually, it could be a good trade, but the FIP wasn't tapped. So actually, it's not a good trade, not a good. So actually, a trading error. You can see it as a trading error. So you can see trading error. Then on which hour we took it, it was around. Yeah, it was around 23 o'clock, so then I wouldn't take any trade. So then I would suggest then around 12 o'clock when the spreads were just normal. So this would be around midnight. I would take it. So then I was not sleeping yet. And this was a 3 out of 4 criteria. So very nice to see. And the feedback we could give us was here. The daily FIB wasn't placed right. So I didn't count my legs of that daily bullish trend well, like that. So the daily FIB wasn't placed right, so I didn't count my legs of daily bullish trend well. So we can also play this. The daily FIB wasn't placed right, and the 61.80 wasn't tapped of that bigger FIB. So I didn't count my legs of a daily bullish trend well. Yes. So we can also see we have here another thing that is the potential result I could get to follow the plan. So in this case, this would be a potential 2.5% if I use a 2.5% strategy. If I use the strategy for taking partials out at the 4-hour minus 27, then it would be less at daily TP. So then it would be still running. If I look here on this first trade on the 4-hour, you can see, yeah, then this trade would be for around 0.8% on my usual take profit strategy. So I will just use it in this case to just make the difference in it. If you can see on GBP/AUD, if you had your FIB completion from the low here till the high, you had here around 2.5, then it would be around, if you take your calculator, 2.5, 1/3 out, this would be around 0.8%. So this is the same. So then your GPY, this could be a potential trade I could not trade. So this would be a potential just nothing. So I would not trade this then. So then the next one, GBY, the last one, I took the scale in here. So I will go to the daily first. So what can we see on the daily? Daily is very interesting because we had here our pattern within a pattern. You had here your shoulder 1, then your head, shoulder 2, within that a bullish M. So very nice to having this nice buying zone with that resistance here, small resistance, support, and then the buyers kicking here in all the time. You can see nice buyers always kicking in. So what I could also see is, okay, every time we tap here the buyers, but we also tap here in with these sellers because these are just also false breaks of these highs, you can see. So this is also a consolidation zone from that daily chart. You can see we are between these lows and we are between these highs with that false breaks. So the price is consolidating in that zone, as you can see. So sometimes it breaks out of it with a false break, and sometimes here it's holding well because that pattern is sitting against us. So there was just for me the thing that it was a little bit more dangerous to take. But okay, it was a 4 out of 4 trade because on the weekly you can see that this trade was that weekly low that got tapped here. So this was the low, higher high. We had an impulse, then we received a correction. Actually, it was here a FIB completion, I guess, from this high till this low, FIB completion. And then we tapped the weekly lows, liquidity was taken, we had the weekly bullish candle close, trend was with us, bullish M, you had your pattern, you had your weekly buying zone that was sitting there, because you had here also your selling zone, resistance, support, resistance. Then we tapped again that buying zone here from that shoulder 1. Here it was, and also from these weekly lows. So we tapped it also there. So that was nice to see. So we had a 4 out of 4. The FIB also. So yeah, nice trade. Daily was clear. Also the consolidation. Then the 4 hour. What could we see on the 4 hour? We will go over it. Actually, on the 4 hour, you could see here this bullish M within that, and shoulder 1, head shoulder 2. We didn't came back to that shoulder 1. So what I did was, this was our previous lower high wick, lower low, and we broke out of it. So this was our first time break. This is actually not a confirmation, so we could make that shoulder 1, head shoulder 2, but I was looking at, okay, we made that new high. We made a new high. We are indication of bullish. We have here also from this low to this high, minus 27 FIB completion. So now I can take my FIB from this low here till this high. And that's why I threw this trade there for taking, this bullish M. So this was then a bullish M that I wanted to take. I saw this already as bullish, and yeah, I just took this trade on this previous structure resistance that could become support. Stop loss below this week's 5 pips below that, and then it was aligning also with that shoulder 1 here, head shoulder 2, and then the trade doesn't play out because we were still in that consolidation of the daily and weekly for me. So we had also here, if you drew it further, this zone, you can see also some really nice buyers. We can also see here some support, resistance, potential support. So for me, it was a very clean setup on the 4 hour. The daily wasn't, the daily was a clear pattern within a pattern, but the consolidation was, a little bit more dangerous. But yeah, actually, you can see it also as a good trade and also as a more dangerous trade. So let's check then on my trading journal. So I will just take my copy button, copy link. I will set this in my daily screenshot. This was also a 1% risk trade. Then it was GBP, GPY. On which date we took that? We took it on Friday, 27th October. 27th October. Then this was also around 1%. So yeah, it will be around this, also around 1%. Then we take the 4 hour chart here. It will be taking partials around here. Yeah, 2.5% taking out will be here for me. And I will delete that. Delete this for our reverse point. Like that. Good. Then I will just take the copy link and I will just place it in it. Then on the weekly, I will just need to make it a little bit bigger. On the weekly, you can see then we have our bullish candle here. We can see our trade was placing. I will just set this in it, weekly in consolidation with the daily chart, that I can see, okay, we could see that this could not play out, or also, but yeah. For me, you could set this as a good trade, but this was a more dangerous trade. So on which hour we took it? It was a 4 out of 4. It was around 7 o'clock in the morning. I will go to the 1 hour. 8 o'clock. 8 o'clock it was tapped. So 8 o'clock it was triggered, 4 out of 4. Then we can see the daily was in a kind of consolidation. So it was more dangerous. It was more dangerous to take, and the 4-hour bullish trend wasn't confirmed fully, but it was a trade followed by the trend, followed by the plan, followed by the plan. Good. So potential, yeah, -1%. I will go over it with my mentor this upcoming week. Then I maybe can change some things on it. So very important to do that with your mentor, and then possibly change some things about that. So this is the way I do it. So this was then the bullish M. Bullish M, this was the scale in actually. So good trade. Then here the scale in. Scale in, we always set it in the black thing here because we can see it clearly what I took and what was the difference. You can also see here good trade scale in, and then you can see it already in black here. JPAD was also a scale in, so I need to place it also here like that. So I will copy it, place it in here. Good. Make it in black. Scale in. Nice. Daily was here, that inverse plus bullish M, inverse head and shoulders plus bullish M, then the weekly bullish trend, weekly lows, pattern, weekly bullish plus pattern plus lows. Yes. So yeah, this was a potential end week trade for me. Yeah, it was around 0.5% plus, 0.5% in the plus, and then potential end week we cannot know because we didn't knew our trading week. So this will be just empty for now. So then I will go over GPY. This was a trade I missed, so I will explain it. So this was a trade I took here, and this is the trade I missed, the diesel. So what I was doing here, so this was here the diesel that you could take, GPY, then 1 pip we add on it like this. I will make it here smaller, 10 pips below the wicks, so it will be around 45. Yeah, 55 would be 55 pips to make it a good one. Then if you go to the daily TP for around, to the daily TP it would be around 5%, until the bigger daily TP it would be around 5.8. So yeah, this would be a nice one. So you could take a trade. So why I didn't take this trade was what we did here, we tapped that previous weekly lower high. So that's why I was more cautious of it, but actually we could take it. So this was a more emotional trade. We could take it because we tapped here that daily lows, we tapped here that shoulder 1 region. Here we took some liquidity from that shoulder 1, and then we closed very nicely. But because of that previous structured tap, yeah, I wasn't more convinced of it, and yeah, I was telling me out of the trade, and yeah, that's why I didn't took this diesel here, because actually you had here also diesel. You could also actually take here the diesel. So this was here the first diesel you could take, but for me it wasn't uh, that valid as this one, because if you see here this black horizontal line here, we tapped it here and we just didn't tap it here. So I went to the weekly, and you can see if I look more closer on the weekly chart, then you can see we had here our weekly low, and we just didn't tap that with a diesel here. So we had our weekly low that I wanted to tap with that buying zone, because yeah, we had here some buyers, here resistance, buyers. So I found it a really nice zone to take there some pattern. So that's why I wanted to wait. And if I go back to the 4 hour, you can see on the 4 hour here, we just didn't tap that weekly horizontal line here. We tried to, but we couldn't do that. So, and the price was also holding the price here, support, resistance down. And then, yeah, we tapped it here, and then with a nice tap of that shoulder one. So actually we had nice two indications of that daily low and a daily inverse, the bigger pattern, and then we went to the upside. So I could, yeah, I must trade that. So the emotional part was setting me off. So now I will journal it like that. So yeah, I can delete this one because I need to focus on this trade. For RTP would be around here, 2.5%. So 2.5% would be here. Yeah. But you could also take here some partials up because this was a daily selling zone. So, and yeah, this trade could be a break even then because you were trading 1.7%. So yeah. So we copy this. We go to our missed trades for the moment. Missed trades. We go to the downside. Yes, missed trades. We leave one open space for making it more clear. Then we go to the 4 hour, we place it in. This trade could be a break even, so this would be a 0%. So what we will see here, I was emotionally attached to that previous step of that structure. That's why I didn't took it. I was talking myself out of it. So this was the reason I was emotionally attached to the previous step of that structure, of that previous structure. That's why I didn't took it, comma, I was talking myself out of it. Yes. So this was the reason I could take this. So I have also one space button here, here for saying, okay, is it a yes? Is it still running? Is it a no? Could I take it? Yes or not? But mostly of the time it's a yes. So on which hour we could take it? It was around 11 o'clock. So 11 o'clock, like this. So, and then I place here my week I was standing. So I was standing here with the early shift. So the early shift was here. Early shift. Yes. So I was standing with the early shift. So I was working at the time. I know, okay, I needed to place it when I was working. So that was some feedback then for me. So then on the daily, I will make the screenshot here. I will delete this drawing like that. Daily then that weekly like this, weekly 4-hour was a deceleration, and yeah, this was in October, which date? 25. No, it was here diesel. Yeah, it was 26 October 26 GPY. Then on a daily, we had here that inverse plus bullish M, inverse and then shoulders plus M. Was it a fake out? No, it wasn't a fake out, so it was then that one. Weekly, we go to the weekly. Weekly was bullish. Weekly bullish plus pattern plus lows. So yeah, this was a trade I missed for now. Potential missed trades gains was here a break even for the moment. So I will go over now the missed trades I could potentially look over it, because yeah, I just placed it here on my missed trades taken out, so I knew, okay, I need to check. But during the week I could potentially look over some trades. So what I do is, as the Euro USD is still running, so I just don't need to place it in that yet. So when it closes, then I place it in my journal, or a potentially missed trade on Euro USD I can place in it. So what I do is I will go over the pairs on a daily. So the DXY, we don't need to count in that, but I also reviewed it previous week on my SMB, what it could potentially do that. And yeah, the daily lows were here holding the price up. So Euro AUD, what can we see? We had here that bullish M on Euro AUD like this. Did we have a pattern? No, we tapped these daily lows. We didn't have a clear pattern, so no. Then next one, GBP CAD. We wanted to see that shoulder 1 here, had shoulder 2. When we had that break, we didn't came back and we made a new high. We have a potential bullish M next week, so no. Next one, Euro CHF. We wanted to take the short. I had here some comments on it. Don't need to, yeah, it's not that important, but it was just for me. So on a daily, what were we seeing? Bearish W here. We wanted to see these daily highs to be tapped because the daily supply and momentum was there. And what could we see? No 4-hour criteria on this daily zone, so no trade. Then USD CAD here. We tapped the daily bigger fib low high. We tapped the 61.80 and made a bullish M after it, so we can take the smaller bullish M from this low here till this high. What can we see? We didn't tap the 61.80 here. We made an impulse correction, went to the upside, so no trade to be taken. Then GBP USD, we made here an inverted and shoulders, but actually that trade wasn't fitting the criteria, so actually I needed to put it out. Then AUD USD, we wanted to take that natural W, same lows, we expected the same highs. We made it here actually. This was a smaller, same lows, same highs, and then we are going correctively more to the downside. So potentially we can go to the upside next week because we made a triple bottom, and then we can go to the upside. So this is an indication for us that the price wants to potentially go back up because the sellers are not there. Then Euro NZD, yeah, we didn't receive that bullish M, so we can potentially still make it with that bigger correction that can potentially form. Then Euro GBP, not a trade we could take because we didn't tap here a daily zone of interest. So yeah, it's still between its highs and its lows trading, so in a consolidation for a moment. Then GBP NZD, we didn't came back to our daily zone of interest. I see impulse, potentially correction next week. so not for us. So then GBP we tapped here our daily zone of interest, bearish W, IC, FIB completion here, zone of interest got tapped, so we want to see the 4 hour. And what can we see? 4 hour, yeah, we didn't tap, we didn't make here a pattern, so we couldn't take it. Yeah. Then get CHF, bearish W, 4 hour first daily first leg, second leg, third leg, fourth leg needs to come back. Impulse, we already received some diesel consolidation, so the price is bottoming here, so it's really clear support. We can potentially go up next week. Then NZD GPY, yeah, nothing clearly to see. We had here a potential same low, same highs. We didn't have here on the 4 hour a pattern, no diesel. And also because if you take your FIB from this high till this low, the 61.80 didn't tap because it was here, so not valid for me. So then AUD CHF, the short, we tapped the daily zone of interest here. What could we see on the 4 hour? Yeah, potentially diesel next week. So here could be the potential diesel here for taking to the downside. So we need to take that in count. CHF GPY daily. Yeah, we didn't tap yet the daily zone of interest for a long, so we need to wait what we will have there, but it looks interesting. Impulse took a little bit more longer to go to the downside. We will see on the 4 hour, yeah, impulse now, so diesel is potentially possible. Yes. Then as a decat, yeah, we wanted to take the long for the potential shoulder 1, head shoulder 2, which can potentially make within the bullish M next week, so we couldn't take it. Then USD GPY for the long, we can see potentially fake out flag with that bullish M here. Sorry, this one here, first leg, second leg, third leg, fourth leg. Then here daily lows, what we can see on the 4 hour, potential diesel upcoming week, so we couldn't trade it. GBP/USD long, we didn't find the criteria, so we had only a 104, we cannot look at it. USD CHF short, the only thing is this shoulder 1 region and this head and the shoulder 1, it wasn't between the FIB levels, so it wasn't clear for me, so I wouldn't take it immediately. So that's why EuroCAD for the long, we wanted to make after that impulse that pull back. We didn't receive that. We made a new impulse, so bullish M for next week. Then get GPY. Yeah, we want to make here that shoulder 1, head shoulder 2. When you didn't make it, potentially the same low, same highs next week. This is in the case of that. Then as a DCHF, bearish W, first leg, second leg, third leg, fourth leg. We potentially could come back to the daily zone of interest, but we didn't do that, so no trade. AUD/GPY, yeah, this was a more difficult trade, but yeah, it was a one of 4 short, so for me it was not yeah, we weren't looking at that. AUD/CAD, yeah, nothing in the criteria for us. AUD/NZD 104 long, so yeah, we tapped also the weekly selling zone here, so yeah, no trade for us to take. So yeah, and then the rest, USD ZAR, yeah, I wasn't looking at these trades. It was actually, yeah, I was looking at it, at this daily inversion and shoulders, but we tapped the daily lows. So actually, I don't trade inversion and shoulders when we tap the daily lows. But if you can see this daily bullish M, this really clear buying zone, resistance, support impulses of that zone, we can see this trade can potentially play out. We can have a potential diesel. So next week, this can potentially play out. So yeah, then the GD/GPY, potential bullish M, we couldn't trade it. Yeah, we couldn't trade it. Came back impulsively. USD HUF was in that bullish M, that bigger bullish M. correction after impulse, and we tapped the previous IC, so we couldn't take here a trade. If I go to the 4-hour, yeah, you made here shoulder 1, head shoulder 2, but this was not within a 61.80, but actually if your risk ratio was good enough, then you could take it potentially. It was, yeah, 8.1. So actually, yeah, you can take this trade, but it would be for around 0.5%. So this could be a missed trade, USD HUF. So I can place that later. I will not do it now, but I can place that later in my missed trades. Euro HUF, Euro HUF. Yeah, nothing really to see now. Bullish M, low, high, impulse. Yeah, we could potentially, yeah, this zone was following the price down here for a moment. This selling zone. USDG, USD SGD. Yeah, it was not that clear for me. Lows, highs. Bullish M. Yeah. Euro CGD. This was a more better trade to take because you had here your bullish M. IC got tapped here. Yet here also IC here a smaller bullish M. We didn't broke below. So if I go to the 4-hour, yeah, you can see this as your bullish M. You can potentially take your fib from this low till this high. And what we want to see on this trade is, yeah, we couldn't take it because this is our high and this is our new low, because these wicks go over into each other. So this is a high and low. So we are still bearish, but we could take here then the bullish M. Some people would place it here, but my fib levels are at this higher low, so I would take the trade here. So the trade is still not in play, so I would take it here, then with the stop loss be here, then to the upside. This can be the trade, and then you will the MXN. Yeah, not that. Yeah, we'll see on the 4-hour. Yeah, no trade. Yeah, with here also triple top with that fib completion here. Yeah, this was a fib completion, so there's a high chance that the price goes back to the downside if it goes impulsively more. Yeah. So this was my review. I hope you liked it. I tried to explain it so basically as possible. If you have questions, you can ask me. For next week, I will go also do this in a more shorter version. I will also set a link from this video also in that videos I will send. Then you can always watch it in the basic video, and then I will go to the shorter one. So yeah, good to see that. I hope you liked it, and yeah, see you next time. Bye.